All right, we live, yeah. Hey, everybody. Que paso? All right, it's gonna be a fun one tonight. I'm looking forward to it for sure. Let's just make sure everything looks hunky-dory on the YouTube side. Like I said, there's a 15-second delay, so let's make sure we are rocking and rolling, shall we? Oops. All right. All right, cool, good. All right, let's start with a good email I had earlier today, amigos. Okay, there we go. Turn that, guys. Oh, one second. Let me turn that down. Wait, I want to do that. I want to just turn it. There we go. All right, cool. So I had a great email from a guy I used to work with at USAA, and I haven't spoken to him for a long, long time. But he told me, and I just got done telling my wife. He said, "Hey, just want to let you know that that as of because of your testimonials about quitting drinking, May 25th, 1997, for this guy, he had quit drinking May 25th of last year, and he's going on a year of sobriety, and that's fantastic. That makes me incredibly happy. And the point is that, you know, I was telling Charlotte, I said, when you share your vulnerabilities with people, other people recognize that they're not alone, if that makes sense. And, you know, we all have our, I don't know what it's like being a chick, but I do know what it's like being a man. And being a man, we all have our issues to contend with, let's put it that way. And as such, you know, the one thing about AA that was such a wonderful thing, and Weight Watchers, things like that, is it's a community of like-minded people who are trying to accomplish the same thing. It's awful hard to go it alone, my friends. Awful, awful hard to go it alone. And as such, if you're struggling with something, I mean, I don't know what it is. Everyone's got, I mean, look, man, we got alcohol takes over the world. Pornography takes over the world. We got you know, never mind heroin, opioids. There's addictions all over the flipping place. Everyone knows this. So if you are somebody who's subject to those addictions, I'm telling you right now, you are not the only one. There are other people out there just like you. And you've got to find a group, because it's easier when you're part of a group of people who are fighting it as well. And I'm just telling you, man, that's why it makes AA, the 12 steps, wonderful. But I think it's more the community of like-minded people for sure. So anyway, point being, if that doesn't kick in the pants and make you fired up, you know, to continue doing what you're doing and sharing your vulnerabilities as well as your viewpoint of the world, nothing else will. I love it, man. I think I have a huge issue with the manufactured crises that we have in this country, just to keep people in fear and looking to big daddy government. But there are crises. The obesity is a problem, big time. That's probably the worst problem we have. In fact, I was just reading an article. I don't know if I have it up. I don't think I have it up there. You know, the number of people dying from heart disease by far and away outpaced COVID, by far and away outpaced anything else, even last year. And obesity goes hand in hand with that for sure. And obesity comes from overeating, and not just that, but eating crap, because the insanity of the people pushing the Ansel Keys and 7 Nation study with high carbs, low fat diets, the food pyramids and all that stuff. The same government, by the way, the same CDC in Tuskegee, Charlotte always gets mad because I never pronounce it right. The same government was pushing the food pyramid on you. The same government we should trust, the FDA, for the food to watch your back while they were killing you, experimenting on your health and bodies. And I would say no. As such, though, obesity through the food, through your alcohol consumption, I tell you, man, there ain't nothing good about drinking lots of beers. And look, you could not outdrink me in beers. You probably could outdrink me in lots of things, but not beers. You couldn't. Because I loved it. Still do. I mean, that's the thing. Once you're an alcoholic, you're forever an alcoholic. You'll never get over it. And I was telling this guy, I said, man, just remember, you're never over it. Every day is a battle. But remember, it doesn't matter. And I remember had a couple while ago, someone says, so you never drink beer again? I said, man, I don't know. I just know for right now, I won't drink beer. I don't know if by the end of the day. I just know right now my hands are empty of alcohol. And as long as my hands are empty of alcohol, that's all I can control, and I'm good. I don't know what the future holds, but right now I won't drink. And that's what I told him. I said, just remember, you're a year into this. This is where lapses come. People say, I think I got this. I think I could go down and drink a couple of beers. I'm telling you, man, you can't. Right now, you don't drink. Forget what the future is. Control what you can control. And the thing with alcohol, it's horrible for you, dudes. It's horrible. All those empty freaking calories, carbs, never mind just the alcohol, what it does to you is horrible. Never mind the relationship, the things you say that you wish you could take back. Oh, man. All right. Anyway, all right. So I want to I don't know what's going on with this guy, but we'll get rid of him. Oh, you hate the taste of beers, Aqua Bliss. Oh man, I could drink me some. I could drink the hell out of some beers. Well, that's the thing. My man Jeremy says. So I mean, some people can do it. Not me. That's what I'm saying. There's no such thing as one beer for me. And Jeremy, trust me, man, you're young. You're young, big guy. We've all been there when I think Jeremy's like 29. I think he said, yeah, when we're 29, man, you're just a kid, dude. You can drink until the cows come home. Trust me. Wait till you're 45. Now, I haven't drank since 1997. So I was 27 years old or 37. Born in I was 27. So I don't know, but I mean, trust me, man, that'll hit you hard. You're going to wake up one day and say, man, I used to be able to drink 6 beers and freaking, by the time I woke up, I lost 5 pounds. I'm telling you, brother. All right. Yeah, hey, man, that's what I'm saying. 1 glass of red wine a day, more power to you, baby. I got no problem with that. I can't do it. I hate wine anyway. Wine's for suckers. I'm just joking. I don't care. I hate it. I like beer, man. I like the carbonation. I like the hops. I was talking to a client yesterday. He had a hop water. So it was a water made of hops. It was non-alcoholic. I said, that's crazy. But my dogs are great, Lydia. They're nuts. I love them. Conservatives have never conserved anything in America, Bob. That's a fact. And it's just funny because they conservatives, and this is my issue. I did a video earlier just a few minutes ago to talk about, oh my goodness, we're going to have all this, spiraling spending and all that. I'm like, well, what the hell did Nixon? What the hell did Reagan? What the hell did Bush? What the hell did W? What the hell did Trump? I mean, stop it. Republicans are spending like drunken sailors just to the extent that Democrats have. The only president we ever had a balanced budget in my lifetime was under Clinton. Now, we know why is because he had a Republican Congress. But anyway, so conservatives can all kiss my big fat behind, too. They haven't done anything other than capitulate to the Chamber of Commerce. And I'm sitting there thinking, all right, so all these conservatives out there are saying, and I read an article, and I did a video on this on a PJ Media the other day, and the guy was like, support our fight against tech censorship and support our fight against this. And, support our fight against the cancel culture. And when it came time to actually shine the light on true cancel culture proponents, they blocked their names out. They blocked and said, you're not engaged, man. You're a faker. And I said, you're a faker. You don't want to be, you're not engaged. You just want the money. You're a faker. I hate that crap. We're fighting against cancel culture by not canceling the people who are engaging in cancel culture. Yeah. Yeah, IPA, man. Hey, Harry, what's going on? All right. So you're getting a tattoo in an hour. Well, what do I think about them? I wish I didn't have mine. I'll tell you that right now. They're too damn trendy. And it's embarrassing now. It's not embarrassing because they look. I don't care about that. I mean, hell, what did I get my 1990? So it's been 30 years since I've had my tats. But, I was this close to getting sleeves and everything back in 92. And I just, I forgot what I didn't spend my money on. I forgot I had some money. I knew a guy who was doing them. We kind of got the drunk version of jailhouse tattoos on me in some regard. And I was going to do a sleeve on my left arm. And I just said, but we're all kind of drunk. And I said, I won't, thankfully. Long story short, people get tattoos. I like it better when it's just military, bikers, and punk rockers and criminals. Now it's a fad, and I hate it. But hey, Lydia, that's cool. I got no qualm with it. They are addictive. But it's just embarrassing how fad. And you know why would cause a fad, don't you? Dennis Rodman. If it wasn't for Dennis Rodman and then Allen Iverson, no one would have tattoos. I'm just telling you right now, Dennis Rodman started it, but it wasn't Dennis Rodman that started the trend. It's Allen Iverson. I swear to the good Lord upstairs, man. Rodman started, and then Iverson, he was the first kind of mainstream guy who was kind of cool, you know what I'm saying? An urban black guy that all the white guys could follow. And next thing you know, chicks start getting tattoos, and now everyone's doing this, and it's just embarrassing. But I wouldn't do it, Lydia, frankly. If you want to be a cool kid, keep your skin clear. That's the cool kids. All the cool kids are keep their skin clear nowadays, and that's what you should do too. But be that as it may, don't like me because I have tattoos. That's not cool. I do not drink non-alcoholic beers. No, I don't want to. Yeah, look, man, I'm not afraid that I just, well, maybe I am afraid, but I don't see the point. I love Simon from Uneducated Comps. I reached out to him about 6 months ago, and we were playing around emails back and forth trying to schedule something. That's his name, Simon. And then that just fell off. Yeah, I am not a fan of tattoos on chicks. No way. I mean, that's the thing. Why mess? I mean, women are like, well, let me close my door so my wife doesn't get mad. Just say how beautiful she is. I mean, cute. Look, you got to do what you got to do. I'm cool with that, but I'm trying to think, like, my wife is the most gorgeous creature on God's green earth. Why would if she were to, take that and put an ink stain on there? I don't, why would they? I mean, I get it. I'm not here to yell at people. Do what they want to do, but man, I don't like it. I don't like, and the problem is all these bartenders and stuff. I mean, all the hipsters have tattoos, sleeve tattoos. You're like, man, back in the day, no, remember Bon Scott from AC/DC had a tattoo right here back in the 70s, and that was cool. No one had tattoos. English oi bands from the 80s and late 70s, and punk rock bands had tattoos. That was cool. Navy guys, Popeye, Mom, that was cool. And then of course bikers and criminals. But I mean, but now it's like, freaking suburban moms, 45 years old with their fake blonde hair and stuff. It's embarrassing. And Lydia, don't take this wrong. But I'm just like, oh. And now you're getting neck tattoos and, face tattoos. I shared with this story one time when we went to the last night I drank, as a matter of fact. There was a guy who was a white guy in Miami prison, Miami, Florida. And we went to my last time I drank. We're up in Nashville, New Hampshire. We went to Boston to go see a couple bands there. And that was the first time I ever seen tattoos on your head. He had tattoos on his shaven head. And let's just put it this way: if you're a white guy in Miami in a South Florida prison, diversity is not your key component thing, if that makes sense. And he just happened to be at this place I was hanging out with. But let's just put it this way: he's not looking for diversity, equity, and inclusion, if you know what I'm saying. But he had all kinds of tattoos from prison on his head. I'd never seen that before. That's crazy. But now people are doing it all the time. It's just like, man, it's weird. I say, wait. All these people who are complaining about not having enough money, but they're getting all these tattoos. What the hell? They got these fancy schmancy good time rock and roll phones. They got these tattoos. You going out? What are you doing, Big Bear? No, you gonna stay? All right. Well, where's all this money coming from? Sniffy Joe's freaking tattoo sponsorship bill. Oh my goodness. All right, so let's hold on just a second. Are you gonna go out and get a stack? There you go. Go ahead. Good boy. Yeah, don't get red. That's all I gotta say about that. If you get red, it'll become a very light pink, if you don't understand. All right. All right. Yeah, tattoos are everywhere, exactly. Yeah. No regrets. That's funny. Oh man. Yeah. All right, so I want to talk about, hey, my man Frugal, ex-Mana, right? Right on. All right, cool. That's good. And it's who knows anymore, Aqua Bliss. All right, so I want to show. So I came across this. This is pretty cool here, and this is from Market Watch of all places. And every now and again, I'll sneak a peek on Market Watch to see if there's any clickbait stuff I can make that sweet YouTube money on. And every now and then there'll be an article that's of interest for to look at. So let me just share the link here. And then I have a pretty good gauge of what draws eyes on YouTube. And so, all right, you guys ready? Best places for conservatives to retire. All right. So we're going to go to Market Watch and we're going to start from scratch. And this is cool. So where in the world would you like to retire? So so what I have found, my friends, can you all see that? Yeah, sweet. So what I have found is that, first of all, you got to find your state. Then you got to find the county. So remember, I don't care what anybody says, we're still a red state in Georgia. I'm not in a red county. So you got to find your state, and then you got to find your county. So we're going to start in Georgia, all right? And what we're going to do is we're going to say we want to retire in Georgia. And then we're going to say what's important to you. So what's important to me is the political leanings. I want solidly Republican. It's not because it's the Republican per se. It's because it's going to be the less masks. I want to retire in the place with the least amount of mask enforcement and the least amount of sheep that wear that stupid thing. We can do, county population, that in of itself will just say it only lets you pick one, which is weird. So let's just say 100 to 250,000. That's not a big thing here. Who lives here? I want to be the most religious. All right. I don't want rapid population growth. All right. I also want it to be a lower cost of living, below average cost of living. And I don't really, the median home prices, you can put whatever you want. So we'll say below 400,000. And so, I mean, if you're in Georgia, you're going to be high Julys and July humidity and all that. So you can do all this stuff right here. You could do a professional sports team. What I found is they're not talking minor leagues, which is a pro sport, by the way. They're talking NFL, NBA, NHL, and MLB. And I don't want that. I don't care about this, don't care about that, don't care about that, don't care about that, and I don't care about casinos. In fact, I hate casinos. Culture and arts, I don't care about any of this stuff. I mean, a college town might be of interest, but I don't care. Outdoor activities is big. I didn't see any like hiking or fishing or anything. So beach, and that's all fine. But that doesn't matter. Transportation, airport, nope. Health, and this is, it might be of interest to you. VA Medical Center, right? If you're a veteran, that'd be a big deal. Snowfall, obviously, if I'm looking at New Hampshire, snowfall is going to be part of it. If I'm looking at Georgia, humidity is going to be part of it. Median home price, we talk. All right, so what we do, but again, it's the county. This will tell you this will give you the county that you're looking at. So let's go down here, and we're telling the software what county we want to look at. So now Dalton, Georgia, Whitfield County. All right. So that's up by the Tennessee line right there over by Ringgold. Dalton's where a lot of the people where they make the carpeting is. Lots of carpeting places up there. All right. So Dalton. So I'm actually looking at the county. All right. So Whitfield County. I was like, interesting. All right. Solidly Republican, below average cost of living, most religious. All right. Good. Gainesville, Georgia. Now that's in Hall County, which is interesting because that's over by. So I'm like right here. Gainesville is over here, Lawrenceville, Gwinnett County, and a little bit north of that. Gainesville is actually a nice town. It's pretty cool. It's I would probably move a little bit north of Gainesville. Gainesville, Georgia, is a good county, man. I mean, here's Atlanta right here. It's close enough to get to Atlanta if you need to. For why I don't know, but Gainesville, Georgia is actually interesting. It's got a nice downtown. All right, Fayette County. That's I don't want to. That doesn't. I think Dallas is in Fayette County. I can't remember, but that doesn't do much for me. I don't know anything about Appling County, but this is down towards like the Macon area. The Valdosta is right in here. Kind of flat, very humid, but so that's interesting there too. Ben Hill County, don't know anything about that. Dodge County, don't know anything about that. And again, you can see these in the southern part of the state. I'm more interested in up here, actually, because that's in the mountain areas for sure. Early County, that's going to be over by Columbus, Georgia. That's nice thing about this is close proximity to Pensacola and Orange Beach and all that. That's kind of cool. Fannin, oh, there we go. Now we're getting someplace. So Fannin County and Whitfield County. All right. Franklin County, getting someplace, huh? Look at that. All right. And Habersham County. So you can see we got 3 or 4 good places right here. Habersham County, Franklin County, all right, and Fannin County. So what we're going to do next is we're going to go We're going to look at best. We're going to go to we're going to go to, where am I going? I'm going to go to DuckDuckGo, Fannin County, Georgia. So what I'm going to do here, amigos, is we're going to say, and this is what I'm going to do. I mean, literally, I do this because I think it's fun. I'm always looking for where I want the old lady and myself to locate to, and maybe start putting the feelers for real estate in these places. I'm not buying anything until we have no debt here. I'll tell you that right now. But maybe start getting a gauge of what's going on out there. So what we're going to do is we're going to share screen, and we're going to stop screen. All right, there we go. Now we're going to share, and we're going to go and we're going to investigate Fannin County, Georgia. Again, we're using DuckDuckGo. Now we're going to go to, this is Wikipedia. As much as I hate Wikipedia, it still works. Fannin County is located in the north central portion of the Georgia, which is good. The county seat is Blue Ridge. Interesting. So we've all heard about Blue Ridge. Point being is when you're looking for these places, I'm telling you, man, when I did my tours of, going through Tennessee, I looked for some of the best places for conservatives to retire to in Tennessee. The one thing I've found is you want to be in the county seat. The county seat will be more action relative. There's more stores and things like that nature, more coffee shops, more banks and that stuff. So I would say the couple of things you should be looking at is you want to look at a county you want to look at a state that's red, all right, and a county that's red. It has to be. Those things have to coordinate. All right. On part 2 of that, you want to then look at the county seat. And so looking at Fannin County, seeing that Blue Ridge is the county seat, I'm like, okay, well, Blue Ridge, and I've checked it off. Blue Ridge, Georgia. Now, I'm already very familiar with Blue Ridge. That's already high on the list. All right. So let's go back. Hope this makes sense. So now we're going to say, okay, this is just Georgia. We'll keep doing this. I love this. I could do this all day long. It's fun. All right. So now we're going to say best places to retire. And we're going to look at Habersham County. Wait one sec. Right here, Habersham County. So now let's look at it. So now we're going to say, okay, what's the county seat in Habersham County? And we'll stop this. All right. And now we're going to go to share screen. Hey, my man Jorge from my gardening boot camp from South Dakota. Jorge is a Peruvian native, and I met him when I was at my gardening boot camp, and he just texted me. Cool, man. And he's a big anti-commie. He hated the shining path. He hated the commies. And we're all big on what was happening in the Peru elections because the Peru were electing either a far leftist or a far rightist. There's a very big divergence there in Peru, and it went to a runoff, and it looks like the far rightist will probably win, and he'll hammer those freaking shining path scumbags. It's not Shining Path anymore, of course, but it's no different. BLM, Shining Path, all the same thing, man. In Peru, they don't have BLM, but they have whatever, the Marxists. They're all part of the same group. The Red Guard, the Maoists, all these people are all the same. And the right-wing Fujimori types. Now, Fujimori's daughter, I don't think she was winning, but there's another guy who's pretty righteous, so I'm looking for that. And wasn't Bolivia? I think Ecuador elected a righty too in Ecuador. So I think the days of the left taking dominance in Latin America are done because Hugo Chavez is such a scumbag and he led Venezuela to ruin. And I think any freaking person with common sense in Latin America realized that Hugo Chavez and the Marxists need to be defeated. Absolutely. And not just defeated, destroyed without question. And so I'm stoked. All right, so let's look at Habersham County, shall we? What's the county seat in Habersham? The county seat is Clarksville. I don't know. Oh, over by Cleveland. All right, so cool. So what we're doing here in Clarksville, Northeast. Oh, yeah. So we're going to say, okay, Clarksville, Georgia. Clarksville, Georgia. All right. Chattahoochee River rises in what used to be the Habersham County. Song of the Chattahoochee, whatever. So now let's look at Clarksville. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go to bestplaces.net and we're going to look at Clarksville, Georgia. And this is what I love doing this, man. So Clarksville, Georgia. All right. Oh, man, I'm already in here. I'm already, all right, you already got me on there. All right, cool. So Clarksville, Georgia, 1,700 people. Median income's $37,000. All right, so median, my friends, meaning 50% of the people have more, 50% of the people have less. Median home prices less than $200,000. Unemployment's only 4%. All right, so we go back now. All right, so now we got a pretty good place. So now what we're going to do is we're going to look at climate. This is what I do. I'm searching, man. I'm always loving this. And we're going to say the high in July is around 87 degrees. The summer high. The low is about 27 degrees. It gets a lot of rain there, 62 inches and 2 inches of snow. So a lot of rain means lots of good growing for your crops, which is good. All right, I like that. Ooh, but comfort index, 7.6 out of 10, which means one of the most pleasant places in Georgia. Interesting, huh? So it gets lots of rain, which is good for the crops. Not much snow, which you get a little bit, but not much, which is good. Ooh, lots of sunny days. So the sweet miss over there will love it. Average high is about same as throughout the United States. Average low is higher than the average low in the U.S. All right, is a 1358 elevation. All right, so far so good. So now we got to see what are the politics. We want to make sure there's no blues in here. We want to make sure it's right wing for sure. Oh, look at that. So it's on the right side. All right, good. We want to make sure it's strongly conservative. That's good, which means they're not going to have mass Nazis. That's for sure. In Habersham County, 15% of the people voted Democrat. That's what I'm talking about. Now, I don't know if they updated for 2020. I don't know. Let's see. Let's see if they have a 2020. No, so 2016. So at the end of the day, it's still strongly conservative. So I like that. Good stuff. Now let's go to cost of living. I think we might have done that already, did we? Let's see about electricity. Oh, right here. Sweet. So the cost of living is 89.9. I'm liking that. Good. Median home cost is good. Utilities a little bit higher than average. All right. And then we're going to healthcare is 10% higher than average, which that's not good, but okay. Gotcha. Ooh, and here's let's see, let's keep going down. All right, I don't care what those guys say. So anyway, so now let's go to, I'm just curious. Let's take a poke, shall we, and see what we're looking at for houses there. So we're going to go to Zillow. Again, I just love doing this stuff. I could do this all, I don't know why I do. I love maps, always love maps. And what we're going to do is we're going to go, oh, you guys can't see what I'm doing yet. All right, so let's go to, all right, 1 second. We're going to go to Clarksville, GA. All right. So now we're going to say, we're going to go stop that guy. We're going to share this guy. And we're going to go to Clarksville, Georgia, and get a gauge for houses in Clarksville, shall we? Now, I don't know what I got for filters here. 3 bed, 2 bath. There we go. Where don't we have? Let's remove that boundary. I don't know what I have for filters here, but whoa, I probably didn't want to do that. What happened? All right, let's go back to Clarksville, Georgia. There we go. Clarksville, Georgia. All right. So here we go. Let's just ooh, look at this. $289,000, 4 bed, 2 bath. Now I want to have an acre, so I think I can go here, can I? All right. Anyway, we want to put in 8 days on Zillow, mountain, lot size. So we want to have at least, we'll say at least 44,000 square feet, which is an acre. All right, cool. That looks good. And then we're going to hit done. So we'll just take a gander, $289,000 in Clarksville, Georgia. I don't know the first thing about it, but now we're starting to learn something. All right, so let's go to Zillow, see what this guy's looking like. $289. Remember, for every $100,000 you borrow, it's basically $500 a month. But my preference is you don't borrow, frankly. That's what we're trying to avoid is borrowing money. We're trying to pay cash money. But at the end of the day, So here we go. I wish the front yard was a little bit flat. Don't tell me they don't have natural gas. I can't tell if they got natural gas. So basically, for me, I don't care. As long as I got a place to lay my head, all this stuff doesn't matter. For the wife, it does, of course. I want to look at, but nice flat backyard. Look at that. That means you can grow lots of stuff there, amigos. Look at that. Let's look at the map here. I don't know what that's about, but that's okay. And we'll look at the map. And we'll see satellite. Oh, look at that. Very rural. That is what I'm talking about. So now you get this nice little plot of land with some trees back there. All right, good. So that is fantastic. So there we go. So there is Clarksville, Georgia. All right, so that's all right, so that's what I would be doing looking in Georgia. All right, so let's see. All right, no Georgia. Okay, let's look at. All right, so let's see what else we got to do. South Whoop Whoop, Thailand. All right. All right, so let's. So now what we're going to do now, of course, I'm South Dakota, hot governor, and great outdoors. Idaho and Washington County. All right, let's take a look at Idaho and Washington County. All right. Randy Oliver says he doesn't give a crap about politics. It gives a crap about you, baby. That's all there is to it. They hope you don't give a crap about politics. That's for sure. All right, so now we're going to go to Idaho. We're going to hit try again, and we're going to hit Idaho. And we're going to say we want political leanings, solidly Republican, and we want the most religious. Because there's something that goes hand in hand with solidly Republican and most religious. We know that. So that's kind of like a twofer there. All right. So now I think I got to put a couple more things in here. We'll say county population. We'll just say that. Median home prices. We'll just put that in there just because I think Idaho is pretty expensive. So let's see. So we're going to look for, we got Chubbuck County. We got Power County. Bear Lake County, that sounds pretty cool. Blackfoot County, or Bingham County, excuse me. Caribou County, that sounds cool. Burleigh County, Fremont County, Rexburg and Madison County, all right. Minnedoka County, and Oneida County, all right. So I didn't see any, what did Kim say? I didn't see any, what she said here. Camp Shelby, Mississippi. All right. Yeah, South, yeah. All right, so I didn't see okay, Georgia is looking very politically stable right now lately, looking at Alabama. Yeah, I'm not all that. I think you're right, MK Schiffer. I think Georgia, and we're getting more and more businesses here every week. In fact, they just announced another big firm is coming to Georgia. And I was like, man, come on. You got to stop this stuff. Stop this stuff. I mean, I know it's great for the government to say, look at all the tax revenue, but yeah. All right, so there's Idaho. All right, so now we're going to go back and let's go to Alabama. Alabama's fantastic. All right, let's go to Alabama. And again, we're going to go to, I wish you could keep the thing, most religious. We're going to go political leanings. And we'll come over here, below average cost of living. And we'll just do that. I think that's, oh, sweet. Do I need to do another one? Oh, sweet. So let's get results. All right. So here is right there. That's Chambers County. Huntsville's up here. And this is, I forgot the county in Georgia. I forgot what that's called. Taloopsa. I forgot. But anyway, okay. So I think Columbus, Georgia is right here where Fort Benning is. So this is a nice area. If memory serves, Auburn is down here. And Tuscaloosa is over there, I think. Anyways, let's keep going. Butler County. That's on the Mississippi side. All right. But Choctaw County, excuse me. Choctaw County. All right, gotcha. Jackson County. I'm telling you, man, look at that. That's Orange Beach right there. Oh, it's gorgeous. Oh, it's gorgeous. Ashland County or Clay County. All right. Heflin. Yep. I passed through there a couple times. All right. Coffee County. Crenshaw County. Coleman County. Let's take a look at that on the map. So let's go over to Coleman County. Shall we? Yes, we shall. All right. So we're going to go to DuckDuckGo. And we're going to look at Coleman County because that's towards Huntsville, but without being right on Huntsville, which I kind of dig. Let's go to Coleman County. Josh, why are you making this political? Your YouTube channel is going to turn off a lot of people. Don't care. Don't care. You guys on the left, you guys have had the run of the mill for years. About time some people on the right say, just do your own thing, then. We'll do our own thing. You do your own thing. That's cool. Cool by that. County located north central portion of the state. Its county seat is Coleman. All right. It's a moist county in terms of availability of alcoholic beverages. All right. Let's see. It's part of the Birmingham, Hoover, Talladega combined statistical area. All right. No commercial transportation. All right. Gotcha. So let's go look at a map though, because where is this in relation to? And normally when I'm doing maps, I look at Google. I hate Google, but to be honest, the Google maps are fantastic. So let's see where Coleman County is in relation to, and lots of good in North Alabama, lots of good lakes, by the way, in case y'all didn't know that. All right, so where is? There's Matt, Decatur right there. All right, so here's Huntsville. Yeah, okay, good. So it's just a hop and skip from Huntsville. Look at this right here. Wilson Lake, look at that. That is freaking, look at that. I forgot what lake this is, but look at these. Oh, my, look at that. That's fantastic. Green as a day is long. Watch how dark green this is. Oh, yeah. These lakes. There's Huntsville. They got AAA or AA baseball team. The Huntsville Stars moved to Mobile, and then they moved back. I think they're starting this year. All right. And then a lot of these people live here in Madison. That's the booming part. You don't want to move to Madison. I'm telling you, that'd be like living where I'm at. You want to avoid where the people are moving to because that's just going to be booming. And that's fine. But, you'd want to move out some. So anyway, that looks pretty good to me. Coleman County. All right. So good stuff. All right. Let's go back. All right. And then we're going to go to share again. And we're going to go to Fayette County. All right. Gotcha. And Franklin County. Okay. All the north side of Alabama again. Remember, the Appalachian Trail goes like this too. So it's going to be kind of mountainous. All right, cool. All right. So let's go to the great state of, let's go to Tennessee. All right. We'll try Tennessee. All right. Let's go to Tennessee. Do the same thing. And we're doing, for me, this literally what you need to do after the COVID thing. I know I cannot live in a place that's going to be mass Nazis. I just can't do it, man. I can't. If they're that scared about the masks. Now I shared this the other day. Someone was telling me she was on a conference call with a pediatrician, a doctor, who says she sends her children to school with not just one, but 2 masks because she's so scared about them getting COVID. I said, whoa. I thought we wear the mask. I wear it to protect you and you wear it to protect me. So why are you sending your kids with 2 masks if you're so scared about them contracting COVID? I mean, it's freaking idiotic, man. It's a pediatrician doctor. And she's sending her children to school with 2 masks. I mean, it's mind-bogglingly dumb. And yet she's on a conference call talking about how people can, her expertise on the vaccine, it's just you're an idiot. You're an idiot. Why would I listen to anything you say if you're saying I'm so scared about my kids getting COVID that they got to wear 2 masks? It's just as freaking stupid. I'm embarrassed. All right, so let's go below average cost of living, and what do we do? We already did that, and we'll just do that. All right. So now I think I click 4 or 5 to get to see results. So now we're in Tennessee. Oh yeah, Knoxville, Knox County, right on. That's University of Tennessee is right there, obviously. University of Knoxville is going to be pretty left, but there's lots of good places around. That's just a fantastic area. Out in the west part of Tennessee is gorgeous too. Western Tennessee is fantastic compared to Eastern. It's not as gorgeous. The whole damn state is freaking awesome. That's all there is to it. Humboldt, Gibson County, Jackson. Jackson is not a town you want to live in. I drove through it. I liked it, but I looked it up. It's got some it's got some issues. Jackson proper, you wouldn't want to live in. Around that's fine, but I wouldn't. No, not for me. I like Jackson when I was driving through. It's got some criminal issues, that's for sure. And I wouldn't. You don't want to live there. If you don't want to live in the town, you don't want to live in that county either, if that makes sense. Because the town's going to dominate the county, just like Fulton County is dominated by Atlanta. Oh, yeah. Right up in here, Morristown, Tennessee. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Look at that. Pulaski, Tennessee. Yep. Never enough. Hancock County. Oh, yeah. There you go. Paris, Tennessee. Yep. Been through there. Right here, southern Tennessee. So here's Georgia. Here's Alabama. So Huntsville is going to be right in here. So you're probably within driving distance to Huntsville. If you don't want to pay state sales tax, just go down. So right here, here's Chattanooga. Here's Dalton. In Ringgold, you just come down from Chattanooga to Dalton, Ringgold to buy your groceries or buy your stuff. And then you go right back over the border. Athens. Oh, Athens is fantastic. I'm a big fan. So anyway, there's Tennessee. All right. Cool. All right, so let's go back, and what we're going to try next. Let's just try the great state of New Hampshire, shall we? There's not that many counties in New Hampshire, but let's try that. So we're going to try New Hampshire. We'll try again. That'd be for where it's cold. All right, so we'll try New Hampshire. Now, New Hampshire is dominated by the Republicans now. Now they got a somewhat of a squishy governor, Sununu. He's better than most. He's certainly better than Baker. So remember, Massachusetts has a Republican governor, as does Vermont. The Vermont Republican governor is, I'd take Biden over that guy any day of the week. It's scary to say, but I would. The New Hampshire governor is pretty good, actually. He's not great, but for a northeastern governor, he's pretty good. He's not Paul LePage. I'll tell you that right now. Charlie Baker is, of the three, Sununu's best. Charlie Baker sucks. Phil Scott can kiss my big fat behind. But anyway, at the end of the day, we got a decent governor and a decent Ford Northeast, but they are now dominated by a right-wing or a right libertarian legislature. They smoked them in 2020, so it's good. But it's expensive up there, relatively speaking. So what we're going to do is we're going to say county population. Let's just say who lives here. We want the most religious. We want right-wing, solidly Republican, and we're gonna come down to just whatever. We're gonna say money and work. All right, let's say below average right there. Okay, sweet. Let's see what else we got here in New Hampshire. Yeah, Laconia, New Hampshire, Belknap County. Mostly looking for low property taxes here. All right, solidly Republican. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, up here, that Berlin, Coos County, that's exactly right there. That's where you want to be, in Coos County, New Hampshire. I think that's where Mark Stein lives, if you're familiar at all with Mark Stein. So good stuff. All right, so anyways, that's some tools you can do. I like it. Actually, one more time, we're just going to go to the great state of Maine. Actually, let's go to Virginia, because I can do both. All right, sweet. I didn't know I could do that. That's fantastic. So let's go, who lives here? Oops, most religious. Oops. And count it. We're going to go political leanings, solidly Republican. We're going to say money and work, below average cost of living, and we'll just say right here. All right, cool. Let's see what the counties in Maine and Virginia are. Bristol, Virginia, way down here. I wonder why it's not showing it. That's weird. But it's way down here on the Tennessee line. So here's West Virginia. Here's Bristol. Halifax. Yeah, not a big fan of Halifax. Actually, I shouldn't say that. I haven't been through Halifax County in a long time. I just remember it was decimated by the textile industry. Buena Vista. That's where is that? I forgot where Buena Vista is. They call it Boona, actually. Waynesboro, that's Augusta County. Salem, Virginia, that's down by Roanoke. I wonder why they're not showing it. Guthrie County's, in the middle towards Richmond. Colonial Heights, Covington, and Scott County. Well, they don't have any Maine on there. Okay. All right, let's try that one more time. Yeah, let's try Maine. So there's not that many counties in Maine, but we're just, that's where the cool kids are from. Most religious. County population is always going to be low because Maine isn't very expensive, very political leaning, solidly Republican. And let's see what we got. Penobscot County right there. All right. That's pretty good. All right. And we got Aroostook County. Oh, yeah. Oh, man, that's the way. I've never been up here. I've never been to Bangor. I've never been to Aroostook County, even though I'm from Maine. Augusta, that's where the capital is. That's the most north I've ever been. Isn't that crazy? Well, one time we did go to Jackman when I was 14 years old, so we went over to Quebec. But the most north I've ever really been in Maine is right here, Augusta. I went there one time. And look at that. That ain't even that north. And here's Bangor, or Bangor up here. Isn't that crazy? I've never been up here. I have no idea what it looks like. Oxford County, that's Freiburg, I think, over here. It's fantastic, man. You're not gonna beat that. It's just freaking gorgeous in the fall. Oh my goodness. Piscataqua, I don't even know how to pronounce that. All right, cool. All right, and Washington County. All right, so let's stop that. All right, well, there you go. So there's some tools for you, my friends. If I were Janet Mills sucks. Yep, Jan or Jane. Yeah, well, that's what you get. You go from Paula Page, who's living in Florida, down to Jane. I think it's Janet Mills, isn't it? And she can kiss my big fat behind. Too much snow, says Dale. Squim. We call it squim. Some people call it sequim, as I used to. Apparently, it's called squim. Yeah. I've heard that a million times, Dan. In Washington, squim is they got that hole in the sky where it doesn't get as much rain. Dude, I'm not gonna lie to you. I love the state of Washington. It was for me. It was perfect. Other than the fact it was too gray, which is why squim is so supposedly so nice. I've heard both people say that. Yeah, it's not nearly what they say it is with that hole in the sky, but it's also I've heard people like you say it is like this. I could live in Washington for sure. Other than Seattle and that corridor there, as liberal as can be. But man, I've never. When Chloe and I went last year, 2000, or 2 years ago now, I was stunned. I've been to Seattle one time with Charlotte and me, and my brother and his wife, and that was fine. But when we went through where that movie was, Forks, whatever it's called. We went through there. Then we went to Wenatchee. It was insane how beautiful it was. I was like, I love Bellingham. I loved it. It was like being in Maine without being so cold. But I can't take a liberal place. I can't take it where they're saying it's okay to freaking mask up. It's nuts. I can't. Now I get it. We're going to look back on this, I hope, and say in hindsight, people fell for it. But didn't Joe Rogan today? Joe Rogan, I don't care. I don't listen to him. It doesn't interest me all that much. But didn't Joe Rogan say something like young people shouldn't get vaxxed? And now all of a sudden he just changed. He said, yeah, you should listen to Fauci. Like, what the hell is that? I mean, that's what I'm saying. So it's like somebody's pulling the strings, man. Somebody's pulling the strings. They're pulling the strings on people. They're saying, hey, it's not Fauci. I mean, Fauci's just doing Fauci's a freaking fool. Fauci's like Kamala Harris. He's dumb as a rock. I mean, you can see Fauci doesn't know his freaking head from the hole in the ground. But someone is pulling the strings for this guy. And now that same someone, or Bill Gates, I don't know who the hell it is, telling Joe Rogan, oh, you better take back what you said about vaccines. And it's like, whoa, dude. And that's what I'm saying. That's what happened to these governors. And many are Republicans. It's crazy. Anyway, if it weren't for that, I could look at Squim because I loved it out there. Oh, my goodness. I loved it. And that's why I went to South Dakota. I said be right wing. South Dakota is not as humid, you know what I'm saying? And it does get rain. It gets a little bit of snow out in the western part of South Dakota. But then, Christie, man, I don't like that whole thing. Like, I don't want to lose the NCAA tournaments because of our thing against protecting women's sports. I'm sorry. You got to stand up, man. Why is the NCAA dictating how a state conducts itself politically in defense of women's sports? This is a Republican-made issue. We have a women problem in suburbia. You know what you do then? You hammer protecting women's sports and women's athletics and women's scholarship. Why is this so hard for Republicans? It's so friggin' frustrating. Why is this so hard? You say, we are one, and look, well, the media's against us. Well, welcome to the club. The media's been against you since day one. You go around the media. You follow the Trump model. And you say, look, I'll screw you, media. We are protecting women's sports and women's athletics and women's academic scholarships, or athletic scholarships. That's what we're protecting. And we'll take on any comers to go to court and say, who's right? Bring it on, NCAA. And let the NCAA violate Title IX. What are you doing, Chrissy Nome? What are you doing, Greg Abbott, with your stupid mask mandate? What are you doing, Bill Lee, with your stupid mask mandates? What are you doing, whatever the guy's name is, Oklahoma? Who's pulling these strings? And all these people are like singing the praises of DeSantis, who I love. I love him. They're singing the praises of Chrissy Nome. She's okay. She's better than most. They're singing the praises of Abbott. He's okay. You know who's not getting the praises sung? My man Brian Kemp. Brian Kemp here in Georgia. He was wishy-washy for about a week, and they said, no, I'm not doing it. We're gonna keep the place open. And he was hammered. Ref, light, right, and everybody in between. They hammered that guy, and he was proven right. I don't get why Brian Kemp frustrates me. Oh, you want to win votes? You say we're going to do Medicare at age 60. That will win you votes. You know why? Because people like the idea of Medicare at age 60. But Josh, don't you understand? Okay, you got to win, people. You got to win to do your legislation, to run the executive office, which ultimately is where all the legislation comes from now anyway. It's not even legislation anymore. It's just dictates from acts of government bureaucrats. So how do you win? You say, we want Medicare for people at age 62, but we're going to do it in our way, not the freaking Sniffy Joe way. But the Republicans, oh, no, we're not for spending. The hell you aren't, Republicans. You're freaking spending like drunken sailors. Or drunken infantrymen who just re-upped and got a $7,000 signing bonus. But you are for spending. You are. But yet you act like you're not. So you get the worst of both worlds. You still spend, but you don't get the credit for spend. You freaking idiots. Idiots. It fries me insane. So the left just marches on through, right on down. You know, the freaking left got, Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski, and Julian Edelman, and we're not even in the locker room yet. Yeah, they all been saying that. Yeah, they should. I mean, look, let's not pretend Medicare is, let's be realistic, man. Medicare is dead to rights. There is no money for Medicare. It's done. It's done. There is no money. That doesn't matter for politics. As much as we know that, from a political perspective, that's not what people are concerned about. They're concerned about whether or not they have health care for a cheap thing they can afford to quit their crappy old job. So you can make the argument all day long, the Ben Shapiro's of the world, like, wow, we're conservative. We're going to, okay. Yeah, good luck winning votes there, big guy. You got to win to implement. And you win by saying, people, we hear you, man. We're 100% with you. And then when you get there, you implement policies that are helpful to people that you can do for a free market orientation. I mean, prescription drug, Part D. Initially, I was 100% against that. That actually turned out to be a pretty good thing, actually. For individual people who are getting hammered for prescription drugs, Medicare Part D turned out to be pretty good. And George W. Bush led the way. It didn't help him politically, I grant you, but it did work in terms of taking care of people who could not otherwise afford prescription drugs. So Medicare Advantage. Democrats and Republicans know Medicare Advantage is the wave of the future. I'm just telling you right now. It's a voucher program, essentially. And there's going to be more of that coming because there's no money for Medicare. But what happens is it looks like Sniffy Joe on the left wants Medicare for you to age 60. They don't want you to pay $20,000 a year in monthly premiums for Obamacare and annual premiums for Obamacare. But we know they're all going to put you on a voucher, I guarantee, an HMO. We know that. We know you're going to get crappy health care because very few doctors are going to want to follow the reimbursement rates of this. We know that. But they get the benefit because they're arguing for it. The Republicans are like, well, the Chamber of Commerce says we need immigration at all costs. Yes, if anyone cares about that. And Sniffy Joe's, Sniffy Joe, just the politics of it all is horrible. Now, of course, George W. Bush did Medicare Part D during the Iraq War, where he went squishy on us as well. And the sad thing is, his thing on the Iraq War was spot on, and then he did not have the fighting skills to defend it. It's just because Karl Rove says we got to appeal to the 10% of the independents. We got to appeal to them. So we don't want to turn anybody off. Like, how come the Democrats never turn anybody off with their craziness? How come it's always Republicans when they get defensive and they start going on the attack? We are the ones turning people off. The Democrats never do. Why is that? Anyway, they can all kiss my big fat butt. The issue is with Medicare at age 60, a lot of people like that. A lot of people who are conservative like that. A lot of right-wingers like that. And as such, when Joe Biden argues it, that has a lot of appeal to crossover voters who would not otherwise be crossover voters. And Republicans have nothing. Oh, we got Tim Scott. I even follow his thing. Okay, so Republicans aren't racist. Great. Okay, we get it. We have a black guy as our representative. That's great. Never seen that before. Some of my best friends are black. People don't give a crap about that stuff, man. I just don't care. People care about healthcare. They care about Social Security. Get off your freaking butts, Republicans, and start advocating for what people care about. Yes, people hate critical race theory. I agree. That is not a federal thing. That is from the locality, like my man Aiden over in Worcester, Massachusetts, running for school council. You need to get involved in your local thing to snip that in the butt. When it comes to the federal government, though, healthcare and Social Security are the big issues. And Republicans sitting on their tushes say, we're going to fight tooth and nail not to have any capital gain tax on people making over $1 million. Yeah, great. That goes over well while people can't afford the healthcare premiums. That's great. That makes us look fantastic. Good job, guys. Yeah, they're all freaking nuts. All right. And I got no qualm with what's her name, Caitlyn Jenner. Bruce. I don't care. Look, the whole thing's odd to me. I'm not going to lie to you. There's something, but I don't like if she wins. I literally don't care. She wants to be called a woman. I call her a woman. I don't care. At the end of the day, though, will she do anything different? No. Come on. The state is done for. There's all there is to it. And so we can get a stopgap. I mean, remember Schwarzenegger. He ran as a pretty libertarian conservative from Austria. But he couldn't do anything because the legislature was so heavily run by the Democrats that ultimately he went along for the ride, and now he's a big green warrior. So not only did he hurt the Republican, the vernacular that surrounds a Republican, you know what I'm saying? But he went to the left and stuff that the green stuff, thinking that he would get love because a lot of these guys just want to be loved. At least with Bruce Jenner, or Caitlyn Jenner, whatever the hell. She's already taken the arrows, but not gonna get anything done. Anyway, what you need who was the guy? He was an Asian guy from San Francisco. He was a Democrat during the 60s who pounded against the movement that was trying to protest for schools and stuff like that. The SDS, Students for Democratic Society. He was an Asian guy. I think he was the mayor of San Francisco, and he was a lefty. But he did not. It's kind of like the old Philadelphia mayor. You know what I'm saying? We had some old school Democrats. We need to bring back those old school Democrats who are not afraid of bringing the law and order against the lunatics. And I can't remember that guy's name. If anyone remembers, the old San Francisco mayor of San Francisco back in the 60s who just said, you're not doing this on my watch. It was fantastic. My repairman who's a military vet could use some subsidized medical. Yeah, it's right on, Darren. Walking outside wearing a mask. If you're doing that, I won't say anymore. All right. Tim says, you couldn't pay me to move to California or New York. There are beautiful places there, but, right on. They're falling apart, man. There's just not enough money in the budget. Not enough money in the budget. So I think at the end of the day, So what the left has done, guys, is the left has done wonderful at slowly taking over institutions that were from the right before. I mean, they've done an incredible job at it. I think some Republicans need to get in the Democratic Party and start running as conservative Democrats. You'll get a lot of you won't get the pushback as you would as you ran as a conservative Republican. Let's just put it that way. There is a guy in Boston, I'm drawing a blank, the BU president, Boston University president from many, many moons ago, who ran against Bill Weld for governor of Massachusetts. And he was an old school Democrat. Drawing a blank what his name was. And he changed Boston University to be a pretty stellar school. Now with some of his economist graduates, AOC comes to mind, has lost all that street cred. But Bill Weld ran against this guy from the left, even though Bill Weld was the Republican, John Sibler. That's Silber or Sibler. That's who it was. And he was a right-wing Democrat. We need more. I think we need more right-wing Democrats because the media doesn't go after you if you're a D. They kind of went after Silber, but they didn't. This is back in the late 80s, maybe even 90s, early 90s, but I think it was late 80s. They kind of went after Silber, but they didn't do it the way they go after like a Brian Kemp or something like that, because he had the D after his name, if that makes sense. So they kind of were more fair-minded. And as much as I hate the media, I'm sorry, they still have power, man. I mean, let's not pretend the media isn't powerful. They still are. Look at ESPN. ESPN is still powerful in sports. It is. I hate to say it, but it is. And so anyway, the point being is that if you have an R next to you, you're always going to have, I mean, any mistake you make will be amplified. If you have a D next to you, it just won't be. So you slowly start the takeover of the leftist institutions and make them right. And I think it's got to start with a takeover of the Democratic Party, where you're right-wing Democrats, if that makes sense. The John Silbers of the world come to mind. And because I don't think the Republicans just don't have what it takes. They just don't. I don't know what happens. I don't know if some CIA guy comes in and says, look, we let you win, but now if you do anything that we don't like, we're going to send you to Gulag. I don't know what happens, but something happens with these guys. And it's which doesn't seem to be the same that happens. You know, we used to have James Traficant. Rush Limbaugh used to talk about him a lot too. Hell, Cynthia McKinney, remember her here in Georgia? She was nuts, but she has some good stuff to say. It's very interesting anyway. So, all right. So John says South Dakota, Wyoming, or Utah. Utah, it doesn't do anything. I mean, look, I've been to St. George. That's it. So I'm ignorant of it. Wyoming is best. Wyoming is best, but it is awful windy there. But, man, from a pure economic perspective, taxes and everything, John, Wyoming's probably the best state in the union, frankly. It really is nuts. It's nuts how good Wyoming is. I've only been to Cheyenne once. It was kind of an S-hole when I was there 25 years ago. I've never been to Jackson Hole. It looks insanely gorgeous, but I know it's windy. But it looks fantastic. If I had my choice, it'd be a Wyoming, but it's just windy and I can't take it. I've only been to Rapid City, which I freaking loved. Rapid City it's a little island in the middle of nowhere, I will tell you though, and that might be good for people if it's just you and your better half. If it's you with your kids, I'm not so sure about that. When I went to Rapid City, I liked it. It was freaking gorgeous, man. I loved it. People are nice. It's green, you know. It's just beautiful. No other way around. It's dry. It's not overly expensive. You know, it's more expensive than places down here. But it's out there. It's out there in the middle of nowhere. No other way around that. And as such, you're on an island. I don't know how else to put that. And that, for me, I wouldn't mind. For my better half, that wouldn't be cool, for sure. You can't just drive. You know, you can't just, it takes 6 hours to drive to Denver. I don't know, 4 hours to drive to Minneapolis or something like that. Not that you ever want to go to Minneapolis. So, Utah, just, you know, look, man, I know a lot of guys in Utah, from Utah. It doesn't do anything for me. It just, I don't know. I've seen St. George. Everyone's like, St. George is so beautiful. I didn't think it was all that in a bag of chips. I'll tell you that right now. I was like, this is it. Salt Lake, it looks like some beautiful parts there. Park City, I suppose, but Utah ain't all that tax friendly. Let me just tell you, it's not all that tax friendly. It's just not. So of those three, I choose Wyoming, South Dakota, then Utah for sure. They need to reduce the 55T rule to 50. Well, it is 50 if you're a first responder. Just keep that in mind, the other Donald. If you're a first responder, the 55 rule, the 72T, is applicable to any first responder. Just keep that in mind. So I worked with two guys today. One was 43. And he's done well for himself, and a good guy. And he's thinking he might be cut out from his job the next year or two. The interesting thing about him is that he's got a boatload of money in post-tax accounts. Worked with another guy. No money in post-tax accounts. All in 401ks. Who's better positioned? And this guy was 55. Maybe that was yesterday. A guy yesterday, I think, had all pre-tax money. I just drawn a blank. But one guy's worked with the last couple of days had, a couple mil in pre-tax money. The 43-year-old had good amounts of pre-tax, but a lot of money in post-tax as well. Who's better positioned if they got canned or if they quit? It's a guy who's 43 because he got all this money he can draw on. But Josh, he paid more taxes. Yeah. And guess what? Those taxes are paid. Signed, sealed, and delivered, baby. Signed, sealed, and delivered. And so the guy who's 43 doesn't have to worry about 10% penalty. And I will tell you guys, when Maine is greater than the lesser of the 59 states. When you can't go wrong with Tennessee, Tammy. I just tell you, Tennessee's got everything other than the ocean. It's perfect other than the ocean. Anyway, long story short. So when I started this job, all right, and I took out $100,000 from my 401k, I needed to net $100,000, which cost me $130,000 because I was under the age of 59 and a half. I'm only 50. So I had to pay income tax on the $100,000 plus I had to pay a 10% penalty. So $130,000 to net $100,000. That freaking sucked. That sucked because that was the time I needed the money most. I wish I would have paid taxes more on the front end when I was throwing money into my 401k and bit the bullet. Because yes, and if you spreadsheet it out, that's probably not the best move. Screw your spreadsheets. I'm sorry. Screw them. And the real world is when you have solid, steady income, yeah, you bite the bullet on the taxes. It sucks, but you just move on and get over it. When it comes time, you don't have that solid, steady income. The tax man's knocking, and you need $100,000. You're in a 22% tax bracket, all right? And you have to pay the 10% penalty, and you're dipping into your principal. So paying the taxes when you're not dipping into your principal, even if it's more, is more worthwhile than paying the taxes by dipping into your principal when you don't have any other income coming in, man. I'm telling you. Good question, Carl. Puerto Rico, I don't know if my man Al's on here. I think Puerto Rico, I don't like South Carolina, Bruce. South Carolina doesn't do it for me. I love South Carolinians. I love them. Too hot, too humid. And other than Greenville, which is crazy expensive now, there's not much in South Carolina that does anything for me. I know everyone loves Charleston. Yeah, I get it. That's not me. Too hot, too humid. Greenville's fine, but Greenville's expensive. You start going up to like Furman in that area, up the northwest of northwest of South Carolina. It's good, but it's not Tennessee. If you're going up that way, you might as well just go into Tennessee. But anyway, so I'm telling you, man, I'm telling you guys, start paying your taxes now and get them behind you. Pay them while you have the liquid assets and you're not dipping in principal. I cannot stress this enough. Pay the taxes now, because if you do, you don't have to worry about it in the future. You don't have to take $130,000 out to finance $100,000 of living expenses the first year you retire. Oh, man, it's such a big deal. I don't think that's true, Ron. Puerto Rico is beautiful as long as you stay on cruise ship. I don't think that's true. I think there are parts of Puerto Rico you probably want to avoid. I think Puerto Rico might be one of those, what's the word I'm looking for? Secret opportunities there, if that makes sense. 55 here, 5 houses, $2 million. Don't put your full name on here, man. Jeez. My man says he got 5. I'm going to take him off. We're just going to read it. 5 houses, 2 million IRA, 1 million cash. There you go. 1.5 million. Yeah, I'm not going to Southwest Florida. I can't take those hurricanes. Have to evacuate all the time. No way. Nah, I don't think so. Position. If you want to move to Puerto Rico, just move to California. Nah, man. Puerto Rico, don't you pay no income tax? Yes, Pagan. I tell you, this is what I have learned, and I would have been, if you would have asked me this 5 years ago, I said no. But now I see the emotional construct that comes once you start getting older and you realize your working days are behind you, getting slower and slower behind you. The time of saving money is getting behind you, and now you're going to start dipping into principal. It may never be. It may never be. It may it may be gone, if that makes sense. And if you can pay those taxes while you're 35 years old, even if it costs a couple extra $1,000 while you're 35 years old, again, yeah, you might not be able to buy an extra case of beer, but who gives a crap? When you're 55 years old, all that's behind you. It's almost like you're prepaying your taxes today to avoid the inflated tax rate in the future. All right, so it's I did a video on that the other day. I know this guy is Art Carpenter. He was in the Wall Street Journal, and I know him. And I said, "Whoa, it's Art, man! I couldn't believe it." And they moved to Alaska, and his wife was like, "I don't think I want to retire to Alaska," and they love it up there, man. But see, I'm from Maine, man. So for me, right here, I'd go to Maine. I love Maine. Maine's I just love it. I don't know if I'll ever domicile in Maine again, but I will be in Maine a lot once the rugrats, the tax credits are out of here. I'm telling you that right now. Maine is just, I love it. It's fantastic. So Alaska, and Maine's got dark winters, just like Alaska, long summers, just like Alaska. Not the same, I grant you, but still, lots of horseflies, lots of mosquito bugs on the water. And most of Maine is pretty right wing. I know they got an insane governor. Maine is the exception to the rule of going. It's kind of like Georgia in some regard. Right now with Georgia, Georgia seems to get people nervous. But if you go to certain sections of Maine and certain sections of Georgia, and when I say Georgia, most sections of Georgia, because everyone's like, "Oh my goodness, Georgia went blue." I don't think that's going to stick, but we shall see. But anyway, Maine's kind of like that too. My brother went up last year with his kids. He went to Bar Harbor, and he's got 4 kids, and they weren't masked outside, and people were looking at them like they were Nazis. You know what I'm saying? It was nuts. And he said but they weren't from Maine. They were from Massachusetts, because Massachusetts people are fools. Everyone knows that, right? And so Massachusetts were dumbasses saying, "Oh my goodness, you don't have a mask outside. No, we're all gonna die." And my brother said, I said, "Man, Mainers like that?" He goes, "No, they're all tourists." So then he went, 2 miles beyond the pale. And he said, then no one had masks. Everyone's fine. And I said, "See, that's the thing. The Mainers are like that. It's the idiots from the tourists from Massachusetts, man." Do y'all know what beyond the pale means, by the way? You should look that up. The history of the beyond the pale is very, very interesting. It's about Ireland. It's very interesting about beyond the pale. All right, Jane says cash is trash. Send me your cash, Jane. Show me truthfully that cash is trash and send me yours, please. I invite you to send me your cash because I will take out your trash. So put your money where your mouth is. Maine is I would say a soft blue state. It's kind of like Virginia in that the leader, the governor and the legislature are blue, and this is why I would never domicile there or Virginia, even Virginia. But the counties that you can habitat, whatever, you can avoid a lot of the blue craziness, if that makes sense. Like Virginia, let's just put it this way: Rockingham County, where we used to live in Dayton, Virginia. I don't know what people are doing there now with masks. We haven't lived there in 15 years, but let me tell you right now, there's a very few Democrats in Dayton, Virginia. It's a heavy Mennonite town. Mennonites dominate that town. Bridgewater, Dayton, Broadway, Virginia. I mean, these are West Virginians who are still in Virginia, if that makes sense. And as such, they're not the Northern Virginia DC elite, if that makes sense. Nothing. I mean, I'll never forget. Was looking for a house for my mother-in-law. She was moving down from Woodbridge area, and we're looking at a guy selling a house right on 33. Probably half a mile from the West Virginia line. And I said, I asked him, hey, how's this house heated? You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't see a wood stove or anything. He goes, it's oral. Or we say oral. Well, not oral. He said oil in a way. We're all like, what the hell did he say? Oral. I can't remember how he pronounced it. I was like, man, we had no idea what he said. I said, oh, okay. It's like when I went through Louisiana one time. It was funny. I was going through Louisiana. We're going back to Texas. And on the way, we went to Disney Park, Disney World, whatever it's called. And going from Texas to Florida, we stopped in Baton Rouge and we went and got some fried chicken at their version of Publix, the local grocery store thing. And there's a black guy behind the counter, and he took my order. I couldn't understand a word he said. I was like, I had no idea what that guy just said. And then coming back, I remember going and we're getting some food, and there's a white guy behind the counter. I had no idea what that guy said. I had no idea. I said, man, people in Louisiana, I can't understand what they say. Black or white, it doesn't matter. It's a Creole, I guess, if you're black, and it's Cajun if you're white. I don't know how it works, but I couldn't understand a damn thing. I was like, huh? And it's kind of like that in Western Virginia. It's like a blast from the past, which makes it awesome. And then up in Maine, some parts of Maine, like you won't be able to understand what they say in some parts of Maine. Obviously, they don't say their R's, so they say pak, the ka, but they also say idea. Like, I don't know why they say it's not idea, it's idea. Huh? Why you put an R there, but you don't put an R for park? That doesn't make any sense. Ironically, in North Carolina, they don't say Washington, they say Washington. Where'd that R come from? It's the weirdest thing. All right, let's see. Yeah, pay the tax while you get a paycheck. 100%, brother, man. All right. Again, so Jane, send me your trash. I'll be happy to take that. All right. Cumberland County rules, exactly, just like Arlington and Alexandria and Fairfax rule. Yeah, dude, Missouri right here. I'm telling you right now, Missouri looks good. I'm an East Coast guy, so it's not going to be for us, but I love Missouri. Oh, speaking of which, talked to a guy today from that neck of the woods. He lives in Arkansas now, and he says that area of Arkansas from like Bentonville around, he said it's the best kept secret in all of America. Anyone ever been to like Bentonville, Rogers, Arkansas, that area? I'd never been there, man, but he said it's freaking, and I tell you, so when I was up in Missouri, I was like, damn, Missouri is fantastic. I had no clue. It was great. Missouri equals humidity. My dad hated the few days he was there. Well, okay. The few days you were there, come on. That's like saying I went to South Texas in July. I hated the few days I was there, never going back. All right, so Joel says, I'm 57. Oops. I got 13 in cash. Don't have a 401k. My house is almost paid. What can I do? Man, I don't know, brother. Keep plugging. Pay off that debt. I'm telling you, paying off that debt, you're going to be in a good place, that's for sure. Flatland. I don't think Missouri's flatland so much, man. The northern 2/3 of Maine are largely, yeah, exactly. Yep, 100%, man. Northwest Arkansas, beautiful. Yeah, I've never been there. I meant to go through Springfield. Actually, one of my pet peeves, I forgot to go through Springfield when I was coming back from Kidder, Missouri. I don't know. I got Springfield on my mind for some reason. And I missed it. I said, damn, I forgot it. So I was at Cape Girardeau. And next thing I know, I said, oh, man, I meant to go through Springfield. That's my concern right there, Laurel's Heart, is tornadoes. I'm not a fan of tornadoes. They scare the living bejesus out of me, for sure. I don't like hurricanes, and I don't like tornadoes. I'll take a nor'easter any day of the week. But we get some here in North Georgia, aftershoots of hurricanes, but not like they get in South Carolina. I'm telling you right now, everyone thinks Florida. My sister-in-law lives in South Carolina, and a couple of times a year in the fall, she's headed this way to stay with us because of her. It's every year. It's the same friggin' thing, man. Bluffton, South Carolina, all right, mandatory evacuation. She's like, I'm coming. We're like, oh, God, again. It's every year. South Carolina, kiss my big fat behind. So you get all that hurricane stuff like you do in Florida. But everyone doesn't look. Everyone thinks South Carolina is free of that. I'm like, nope, not for me, man. All right. The problem with retiring is the U.S. is that wherever you go, the medical insurance can bankrupt you. The politics are getting asked here. Maybe. Roth equals ACA and plenty of money. Roth equals ACA. I don't get that. Yeah, I'm not moving out of the US of A. You can, not me, baby. I'm USA or bust, baby. USA or bust. That's all I gotta say. There's a good song. I'll tell you what. Let's look at. Hold on, just a second, shall we? Here's a song that you guys might want to listen to. All right, that you guys might want to entertain yourselves with. This is the great Peter Steele from a band called Carnivore from back in the 80s. He went on to do where is it, man? Oops, let's go to USA for USA Carnivore lyrics. There we go. Typo negative. All right, here we go. Right, you can read these lyrics for yourself. It's time we lay down the law. We're tired of taking your crap. We're not going to take it no more. All right, oops. Oh, such a good song. And if you don't like it here, then pack your crap and leave. Our forefathers died of war so you can live better. We at least able to keep the stars and stripes forever. Planting bombs and planes, blowing up our ships, kill our kids and women. Find these dickless slobs hanging by the scrotum. Let's end the terrorism. Yes. He does say the F word. Oh, we're all going to die, says the F word. You think yourself a god would fall to the death, a spineless little yellow, I'm not going to say it, a bunch of stinking slobs hiding behind a mask. Show yourself, you maggot. Oh, man. Oh, my goodness. Peter Steele was such a freaking warrior. And I love that guy. And he wrote another song called Public Assistance for Agnostic Front, which is fantastic, too, which and I think he wrote about Bernie Getz, if memory serves. Let's read who wrote Bernie Getz public. Not man. I'm trying to think the name of that song. Bernie Getz, agnostic. Hold on a second. Agnostic. Hold on just a second. Remember Bernie Getz, right? Yeah, right here. Hold on just a second. Cause for alarm. That's not the name of the song. What was the song? I can't remember this. I can't remember what it's called. Anyway, so Peter Steele was for a band called Carnivore, and then he went on for Typo Negative, which didn't do it so much for me. A little bit too slow and too depressing in some regard. But anyway, some of the best lyricists I've for back in those days was fantastic. So USA for USA, baby. If you don't like it here, then pack your crap and leave. You notice I say crap, and he doesn't say crap. But anyone can leave. That's fine with me, man. Rural Utah for one, says Kevin. The Wasatch Front is much too liberal now. Carl is selling his home in Seattle. Need a place to store some of my 1.3 mil. Need to place some my 1.3 mil. I was told that. Told that what? All right. Happy beer drinker. The youngest lives in Scotland, broke all the time, and we constantly send support. That sucks, dude. Hey, Bruce Van knows Peter Steele. Right on, man. Yeah, he died from it wasn't cancer. I know he was depressed, and I think he might have tried to kill himself. It didn't succeed, but I think he had pancreas cancer or something like that. No, we're not. We didn't. No. Get that crap out of here, Mark. No place for whoever did that song. Who did that song? Was that Billy Joel? Jeremy likes Cardi B. By the way, excellent advice I generate. Thanks, Mom. Josh. I'm 58, have $900,000 now, half in lump sum pension, half in 401k. Can I retire now? How should I rebalance my assets? All right. So who wants to take a gander of Marco chips? All right. So I'll let you guys think about that. Josh, you got 900K, half in lump sum pension, half in 401K. Can you retire now? We all know the answer, I hope. We all know the answer to Marco chips. All right. So I'll let you guys answer that. Blairsville, Georgia. I like Blue Ridge, Georgia a little bit better. I've never been to Blairsville, I'll tell you, but it seems like Blairsville, when I was talking to my man Fritz Gilbert from the Retirement Manifesto, he looked at Blairsville and he said he liked Blue Ridge better. And I think I would listen to what Fritz says. So Blue Ridge is fantastic. There's no other way around. I love it. But I don't know. We'll see if we end up going to where we end up staying. There's lots of great places in Georgia. Everyone thinks, oh, you're trying to get out of Georgia. Not necessarily. I mean, Georgia's a friggin' fantastic state. If you get up a little bit higher elevation, there's lots going for it, man, without question. So probably at the ultimate time, like Western Virginia is awesome. Northern Georgia is awesome. The whole damn state of Tennessee is awesome. South Carolina doesn't do it for me. Western North Carolina is awesome. Northern Alabama is awesome. That part of we'll never be in Missouri. Never happen. We'll never be in the Midwest. Never happen. I entertain every now and again Prescott, Arizona, but I'm an East Coast guy, man. There's no other way around that. So what we'll probably do is we'll buy like a house, for $250,000, $300,000 for the better half and me, out someplace, where we can do some basic farming. And then go up to Maine and New Hampshire, a couple of months a year. That for me, that'd be ideal, man. I got no qualm with that at all. Just a simple life, raise my own food. Who knows? Maybe one day I'll raise some hogs. You know what I'm saying? But and then have a place for the kids to come home, because we don't forget we got 4 kids, everybody. You know what I'm saying? So 4 kids, and I mean, are kids even having babies anymore? I don't know. So who knows if we'll ever have grandkids? I don't know. Yeah, Michigan, I've heard is fantastic. Right on, Robert. I cannot tell you how many people have told me about Michigan in the summertime. I've never been there, but I just heard it's freaking awesome. Hurricanes are literally not getting worse with climate change. That's simply not true. They're going to say, just read Judy Curry, for heaven's sake. Ugh. She wrote the books on thermodynamics. She got canceled from Georgia Tech because she didn't swallow the friggin' Kool-Aid. And she says, if oceans are warming, causing the hurricanes from a couple years ago, why were the oceans colder then when those, I forgot what the hurricane was everyone's worried about that was hitting Florida. Why were the oceans colder? If the warming oceans caused the hurricanes, and that the one that came through Florida a couple years ago, everyone's freaking out with, why was it colder? And the answer is because no one knows what the hell they're talking about. The whole thing's nuts. This whole thing on climate change and global warming, they can all kiss my butt. And no one should follow me who's a believer in that crap, because it's evil. You're being lied to. NASA changes the data. We know this. The only data set that has yet to be changed is UAH, University of Alabama, Huntsville. And they'll tell you the truth, good or bad. They'll tell you, because they have satellite data that doesn't get changed. We know for a fact NASA does that. We know for a fact NOAA does that crap. They're all doing it because the moneyed interest dictate everything. And the money interest wanted to sell us on this narrative of climate change. It didn't work. So you know what they do? They create this pandemic. And now we have a pandemic where emissions in the U.S. were down 20% in 2020 because of the pandemic. What happened to parts per million on CO2? Oh, it kept going up the same trajectory. Same trajectory. So while stupid Greta Thunberg and all these idiots out there telling us to freaking reduce our own CO2 emissions, China and India isn't. China is freaking going crazy, colonizing Nigeria for coal, going to sub-Saharan Africa, colonizing these places, digging like freaking madmen. They have coal freaking producing plants all over the place, China does. It's nuts. Their CO2 is going through the roof. And India, they should go through the roof. They don't have any electricity. They're heating their houses with freaking cow dung. Open pit fires. It's causing huge amounts of lung cancer. Give them some clean, natural freaking gas, or give them some coal. Ideally, give them some nuclear. Did you hear, by the way, they did a study on the children of the Chernobyl accident? No issues on radiation going to the next generation. None. Children from Chernobyl, no issues at all of radiation. But radiation is so bad. Where's the proof? Where's the proof? You know what's bad? Heating your house with cow dung. Because the particles in that stuff, never mind just good old-fashioned wood on open pit fires. But no one cares. Because of climate change, people don't care about human beings. They think there's too many. No one finds it odd that Bill Gates, who loves abortion, who loves population control, is the one guy all of a sudden out of nowhere wants to keep people alive with the V's? No one finds that odd? Wait. We have a guy who says there's too many people in this world. If we follow Planned Parenthooding, essentially, planned family planning, i.e. abortion, we can reduce the population by 15%, which is good for the environment. Bill Gates, quote, "Oh, Bill Gates, that same Bill Gates, he wants to save people with a V." No one finds that odd. Bill Gates' dad, big proponent of Planned Parenthood. Who do you think they want to kill? Let's just put it this way. Who do you think they want to die? Do you think it's wealthy elitists in Seattle or sub-Saharan Africans and poor Indians in the third world? I mean, think about this. Who does the climate change Nazis want to leave this earth to save the world? Because people in their mind are polluting and causing environment chaos. Who does Bill Gates Sr. want not to be here anymore? It's evil stuff, man. This is evil. This is the worst evil there is. It's probably even worse than communism, actually. Because at least communism gave some kind of to working people, the power of the working class. Climate change is the exact opposite. It's the rich elite telling you how to live your life. You can't have a wood heater in some of these places now. Can't heat your house with wood stoves. You got to rely on electricity. Yeah, okay. Watch what happens in North Colorado. All right, so North Colorado, by the idiotic Jared Paul, says, we are going to get rid of bad energy production. So we're going to go all green energy for electricity. We're not even talking about energy. We're just talking about electricity. Watch what happens, because Wyoming is still doing coal. Wyoming's a huge coal provider, which has turned into electricity. I hope everyone knows this, right? Colorado says, no, we're going to go windmills. Yeah, watch what happens, man. Watch what happens. This is the issue, my friends. You can't live in a state. I don't even care about the masks are just indicative of how idiotic these people are. But what's worse is they're going to get rid of wood stoves. They're going to make you rely on the grid to heat your home in blue states. And when you are relying on the grid to heat your home, because the grid is electricity, but I have solar. Do you have a battery bank? Then you're grid tied. If you're grid tied, you're relying on the grid. Just because you have solar panels, rooftop solar panels, you are grid tied unless you have a battery bank and you have the ability to switch it off with a transfer switch and never switch it back on. Now, I don't think that's you in suburban America. I can tell you that right now. So just because you have solar panels, you're still grid tied. For the love of the good Lord, man. Anyway, point being is they want you on the grid so they can control you. You can't heat your house with electricity that's grid tied, or else you will follow their mandates. And their mandates are whatever the hell they are. You take too many hot showers, California. You flush your toilet too much, California, Nancy Pelosi. You have too much. I mean, look, this goes on and on and on. You have too much carbon, and you're not buying carbon offsets because carbon, CO2 is bad. Okay, so I reduced my emissions there, big guy. My emissions are lower. In the United States, our emissions in 2020 were down by 12% or 20%, I can't remember, but in the double digits. And yet CO2 parts per million still up well above 400 now. Didn't do crap. I hate it, and you should hate it too. Everybody should hate the climate change agenda. It's evil. The world, when it's thriving the most, is when it's warmer. Medieval warm period versus the little ice age. Just do yourself a favor, my friends, and look up the two. Medieval warm period versus little ice age. One was thriving when Vikings were planting crops in Greenland, and one was dying. It's just that simple. Warm weather is good, even if we can acknowledge that is the earth warming a little bit. Is it because of CO2? No evidence. No evidence. What is CO2? It's a freaking fertilizer for plants. Thus, the world is getting greener as we speak. More CO2, more plants. I don't know why this is so hard for people to understand. More, oh my goodness, we're going to melt the ice caps. What happens when things melt? It creates more moisture in the atmosphere. What does that do? It creates more rainfall. Rainfall is good or bad for plants? Come on. Let's think about this. Nuts. Yeah, they can all kiss my butt. Oh my goodness, we'd be dead a long time ago. Man. Yeah, right there. Big coal in Wyoming. God bless coal, man. That's all I gotta say. You've got to be rich to be a hater of coal. There's no other way around it. You are living, if you hate coal, you are living a rich, well-to-do life. You've got to be rich to hate coal. That's all there is to it. No one who's poor hates coal. I'll tell you that right now, especially if you're in a cold climate. Tell you what, man, if we got some climate change, that'd make Maine even that more attractive. And when I mean climate, now see, I'm falling for it. Climate, global warming. Longer, and think about how insane this is too, by the way. All right, so climate change, i.e. global warming, is bad. It's going to lead to more desertification. That doesn't make any sense because you're sitting there saying, look, that's going to melt the polar ice caps. It's going to create more humidity in the atmosphere, more rainfall, and more CO2, which is freaking a filter, and longer growing season for fertilizer, and a longer growing season. That's all good. None of those are bad. That's all good. As such, we're going to be sitting there saying, okay, we have more growing seasons in Maine, more longer growing seasons, which means we can grow more crops, which means we have more food to eat. Why is that such a bad thing? So it's nuts. It's nuts. It's a good thing. If that were to be true, we say, thank the good Lord. We need it to be warmer. We need more CO2. We don't have enough. CO2 is a good thing. Once we get to 800 parts per million, all right, we can have a discussion. 400 parts per million, no big deal. Not a big deal at all. Don't forget, the idea that Miami is going to be underwater. These guys are freaking frauds, man. The ocean sea level rises a millimeter a year. A millimeter a year. That's it. But some places are more. Yeah, some places are less. A millimeter a year. Ugh. We're going, oh my God, Miami's going to be underwater. People actually think that. They literally think in 10 years Miami will be underwater. I mean, this is nuts. And these people are still mass Nazis too. Oh. Yeah, this is what scares the living hell out of me. Bill Gates want to dim the sun. This is nuts. These people are freaking insane. And some people say, hey, that's not a bad idea, Bill, because he's got the bucks. When he got the bucks, he can say stuff, and people say, look, Bill, you pay me, I'll say whatever you want. Just like Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan gets paid $100 million by Spotify. And now he's telling, oh, I didn't mean what I said about little kids not getting the vaccine, because he's like, they're controlled by the money. This is why you got to be poor on paper. Coal tonnage is going down in the inland rivers due to closing coal. Yeah, I tell you, dude, it's 100%. California, wait, I'm just telling you. The nice thing about being in this job, I hear from people who are in real industries, you know what I'm saying? And I can't obviously relay much, but I hear about people and what's going on out there. And let's just put it this way. California, you're going to be dead to rights in a few years. You're mandating electric vehicles because that electricity just falls from the sky. There's just this outlet. I just plug it in the outlet. I get this electricity. It just falls from the sky. It's great. And so what happens is they're going to mandate EVs, which are going to be a bigger load on the grid. And they're getting rid of not just coal. Natural gas is a way to supply electricity, but hydro as well. They're getting rid of their own hydro. It's nuts. So they're going to go so reliant on solar and wind. And what else are they going to rely on? Exports. That's where they're going to rely. Or I should say imports. It's crazy. And you're sitting there thinking you're adding to the load and you're reducing the supply. But the thing is, these governors who do this will be long gone by this time it's incorporated. So all these guys say, 2035, we're going to have 50% less CO2 in the state of Maryland. But it's not going to happen, and no one's going to hold you accountable. Water vapor by far is the most powerful greenhouse gas. Everybody knows this. Water vapor by far. By far, water vapor. Nothing comes close. Nothing comes close. I mean, just think if you do any seed starters, if you do microgreens, what do? You spray them down. You got some soil or whatever you want to use. Hell, you can use paper napkins. You put your seeds. You spray them down. You put them. You put a plastic cover over them. That enhances humidity, which keeps it in there. That's water vapor. Oh my goodness, crazy. People, I just don't get it. And guess what happens when that happens? As long as it's warm, your plants thrive. They thrive. It's great. Oh, that's why I love growing stuff. I remember reading a newspaper back in the early 80s that Connecticut would have the same weather as Carolinas. Yeah, right on. They've been saying that all the time. It's crazy. In fact, I haven't done a video on it yet. I will. But James Hansen. So remember, you guys you guys probably all do. My audience is a smart group here. But James Hansen, in 1988, June 1988, went before the Senate committee that was run by Democrats. And the guy, I forgot his name off the top of my head, it was a senator from Colorado, he's drawing a blank. He opened the windows and turned the air conditioner off so everyone was sweating. It was wonderful optics. It's in the middle of the hottest day in D.C. in years. And so everyone was sweating. James Hansen from NASA, or no, I think it was NASA. And he was sitting there saying global warming is going to be a big concern. And everybody was sweating bullets. And Bill Worth, or no, it wasn't Worth. Is the senator from Colorado, Worth. I'm sure his name is Worth. Yes, Tim Worth. Worth was his last name. I think it's Wirth. Anyway, and he acknowledged he did that. It was all for show. He acknowledged that. And then when people say, you can't acknowledge that, he got basically somewhat canceled. He said, well, I was just joking. No, he wasn't. He was not. He said, this is what we did for the optics. And it worked like a charm. And ever since then, everyone's like, oh, my goodness, global warming. Oh, no. And James Hansen has been proven a fool. But he was ahead of NASA on this stuff. And he was a fool. We know for a fact Michael Mann's a scumbag from University of Penn State. We know his freaking hockey stick is fraud. Every time he's gone after people who call him that, he's lost. And the reason he loses is because he won't show his data sets. He won't show his data. Canada, he went after a guy up in there, and it cost him going after Mark Stein here in America. In Canada, he lost and had to pay millions of dollars. I forgot the guy's name off the top of my head who stood up against the thug. But Michael Mann lost because he would not show his data sets. And the judge like, dude, you're accusing this guy saying your stuff is fraudulent, but you're not sharing with us to prove that it's not fraudulent. Just share it with us. He goes, I'm not going to do that. Paid millions of dollars, this guy. And that's for the hockey stick. It's fake. He pretends there is no such thing as the medieval warm period or the little ice age. It's crazy. Fake. Fakers. Big fat fakers. Yep. Sky's always falling. Yeah. Al Gore's. I mean, the fact that just look at Al Gore. He's dumb as a rock. You can see that a mile away. But I mean, the facts are Al Gore has he's using 20,000 kilowatt hours a month. Tom Friedman from the New York Times, same thing. I remember the guy, that clown who was running for vice president in 2004 with Kerry, John Edwards, same thing. I mean, these guys, they're all frauds. Never mind Bill Gates flying, owning private jets, owning companies that deal in private jets. Look, man, if you were true about CO2, you would not step on a plane. A plane is the biggest thing you can do to solve your own issue with CO2. It's all there is to it. But they don't do that because they like the easiness of travel. They love to go to France, and they love to go to Madrid. They love to go to the Swiss Alps. They love to be, oh my goodness, you're flying your plane. The plane spews CO2 more than freaking me cooking something natural gas, you friggin' idiots. Not you guys, of course. I'm talking about the greeners. They can all kiss my big fat behind. Oh boy, Haitian boy says the best plane for Republicans to retire is in hell. Wow, that's pretty. So we'll laugh at him a little bit, then we'll ban him in just a second because that's funny. My man Glenn says he doesn't use 20,000 kilowatt hours in a year. Yeah, I do, but I got a family of 6 with 3 girls, and using that freaking hairdryer. Freaking 1,500 watts just to turn that damn thing on, man. So I think we use on average, what do we use? 55. Now this is just electricity, not even counting the amount of natural gas we use. So we use 55 kilowatt hours a day, and I'm not. So we use about 20,000 kilowatt hours a year. All right, but that's just our electricity, and our natural gas, which heats our home, by the way, and heats our water. Probably double that. So hey, it is what it is, man. That doesn't bother me in the least. Bring me CO2 or bring me death. My man Gerald says, yeah, I'm not. I'm going to start getting a little bit trigger finger on these liberals. I'm tired of it, frankly. If they want to, if they want to debate, that's fine. I'm okay with that. If they start getting, triggered by right wing, and I'm not even that right wing. I'm libertarian, but I'm more populist than anything. When I think like conservatism, I'm 100% against abortion. I'm 100% for a Second Amendment, but I'm not sure what other. I love Jesus. I guess that makes you right wing, but I am also not, a free market at all. I used to be, and I've since had I see the reality on the ground that those days are great in theory, but they're not in reality for sure. So I'm a populist, 100%, a populist libertarian, that's for sure. But yeah, right here. Yeah, exactly. Sea level 1 millimeter per year. Question even that, calculating the left. 100%. How do you calculate that? Of course, what we got to do is look at Obama. Remember where he bought his house? I'll never forget. Some guy on his own channel said, some lefty says, yeah, but he's 7 feet above sea level. I said, whoa. Obama is buying his house in Martha's Vineyard, and he's saying Miami is going to be underwater in 10 years. And you're saying because he's 7 feet above sea level, or 14 feet or whatever it is, that he will be exempt from the sea level rising. I got it. I couldn't believe this guy. He was a liberal on here. I said, why did Obama, if we're so worried about sea level, why did Obama buy a fancy schmancy house in Martha's Vineyard? Well, how come he's not worried about it? The guy said, well, because he's 7 feet, he's up on a little bit of a higher plane. I said, well, oh, man. Yeah, man. If loving the Lord is wrong, I don't want to be right. 100%. All right. Let's see. Yeah, Al Gore, he got rich on global warming, man. 100%. 100%. And that's where I love. That's where I loved. All right. So Marco Chips. I don't know if we got back to your question. We don't know if you can retire until we know what your expenses are. That's about it. That's about it. We don't know if you can retire until we know what your expense. Yeah. Carbon credits, the biggest scam out there, man. Yep. Coal, reliable. I still say this all the time. Coal is amazing. Just that little thing of coal, just so much density in there. But this is where nuclear is. Oh man, I tell you. All right, so you fill Yankee Stadium with coal. All right, just in your mind, think of Yankee Stadium and fill it up with coal. The equivalent density for energy of that amount of coal in Yankee Stadium and nuclear, you know what it is? It's a golf ball. A golf ball. So you think about how many wind turbines, how many photovoltaic solar panels would it take to give you the equivalent of a Yankee Stadium filled up with coal? It'd be insane. All right. But then you think about a golf ball of nuclear or of uranium, a golf ball of uranium, would be the equivalent of that is, we're robbing people, man. We're robbing people of their ability to live cheap energy. And we're killing them. I'm literally killing them. We're saying, sorry, Indians, sub-Saharan Africans, sorry. Yeah, you don't deserve cheap energy. But Bill Gates can fly all around the world because he's got the money. All right. Yeah. I see, don't worry so much about Californians moving in, man. If they're moving in, this is the problem with Atlanta, all right, and Nashville, Tennessee. And Austin, a lot of companies are moving to these places because it saves them big bucks, and there's probably some government money going their way as well. unfortunately, they're bringing their employees with them, and their employees did not voluntarily move here, if that makes sense. Their employees did it to keep their jobs, but they're not doing it on their own. They're keeping their politics. A lot of people are fleeing the blue states on their own and not fleeing for their job, are doing so because they're red leaning. I'm just telling, there's look, man, there's more, Trump got more votes in California than he did in Texas or something like that. There's a boatload of Republicans in California. Just remember that just because they have California tags, if they're following their company to Austin, Nashville, or Atlanta, there's a good chance they're keeping their politics. If they're leaving on their own, there's a good chance they're not. I cannot stress this enough. There's a good chance they're keeping their politics, but their politics are red. Remember that California had more Trump voters than Texas did, or something. I think that's true, actually. I think that's what it was, which is amazing to me. All right. Five. Okay. Yeah. Five. Okay. There you go. 5,000 a month. You got a base of $1 million. Psh, dude, 900,000. You're fine, brother. Oh my God. Social Security be kicking in. You'll probably get 3,000 a month in today's dollars on Social Security. So between your Social Security and 5,000 a month, and your 5,000 a month off your portfolio, that's 8,000 a month. You only need 5. You're good, man. Just read Judah. Yeah, you're good, Marco Chips. Absolutely. Whoa. My kid's teacher in California learned that we voted for Trump and will talk to us and send us some materials. What? Yeah, bring your family, not your failed state. Exactly. So I'm going to write in here, if anyone's interested in Judith Curry. All right. And she used to be let me see if she had a website. I forgot. And really, remember, and don't forget, she's a lady too, remember? So we need more women in STEM, right? And she's literally climate. Yeah, right here. Actually, yeah. Oh man, okay. I love Judith Curry. She got guts. Now I'll tell you too, these clowns, Michael Mann's minions said some evil stuff about Judith Curry, like just real sexist, real bad stuff. It's just disgusting. They should all have been canceled, especially in the midst of Me Too. She's an American climatologist and former chair of the School of Earth and Atmospheric Sciences at Georgia Tech. Her research interest includes hurricanes. Interesting. So hurricanes are increasing because the sea temps are rising. Judith Curry might have something to say about that there. I forgot who the guy was, but we don't read Judith Curry. Why? Because she's crazy. She's not a scientist, but she is actually. She actually wrote a book on thermodynamics, and she has a PhD in geophysical science. So look, you might not like her, you might not agree with her, but the science isn't settled. And here's climate excess. Remember, Georgia Tech made her leave. Remember, we need women in STEM. A woman climatologist had to leave one of the premier tech schools in the nation because of her opinion on climate change. It's crazy. So here's JudithCurry.com. Maybe I'll try to get her on my channel one day. I wonder if she'd ever be interviewed about. Yeah. Yeah, I love it. So Mark Stein, let's go to Stein Online. I don't know if you all follow Mark Stein, steinonline.com. Mark Stein is that's shown. Yeah, okay. If you're not following Mark Stein, you're wrong. Let's go to Judith Curry. Now I got to get out of here in just a second. I guess there's nothing on there. Let's see. I think it was this right here. Was this craziness? All right, let me see if this was it. Hold on just a second. We'll stop that. We'll go to this one. And I think that this might be the one where they show what they were saying about Judith. Yeah, right here. About Judy Curry. All right, so for his part, Michael Mann said client science would be stronger without Curry. He said she routinely engaged in character attack, confusionism, and denialism, and eroded scientific discussion. She has played a particularly pernicious role in the climate change denial campaign, laundering standard denier talking points, but appearing to grant them greater authority, courtesy of the academic position she has held in a meager but nonetheless legitimate scientific work that she's published. So basically, she's being, because she's a woman, she doesn't know what she's talking about. By meager scientific work, he means Judith Curry, who is the author of the Encyclopedia of Atmospheric Sciences and the co-author of Thermodynamics of Atmospheres and Oceans, and a member of the National Research Council's Climate Research Committee. As opposed to running around falsely claiming to be a Nobel laureate, as Michael Mann did, and playing Jessica Alba's personal climatologist in a James Cameron documentary. All right, let's see. At this point, let's see, hold on a second. Right here. Die Hard Maniac, which is a Michael Mann advocate, says, condescendingly refers to Judith Curry as Aunt Judy, which appears to be a derogatory porno term for an older woman who would be willing to have intimate relations with if no one else was there to hand. Given that Mann enthusiastically facilitated the reduction of scientific dispute to name-calling, it would be unreasonable to expect the man boys to confine themselves to merely the Holocaust echoes of denier. Indeed, they say Curry is as dishonest as they come. She's an attention seeker, whoring her credentials for adult adulation from angry old white men. This is what they're saying about one of the premier climatologists who happens to be a woman. Imagine that's your wife or daughter. Because you disagree, they're saying you're whoring yourself. That you're an Aunt Judy, i.e., you're basically saying it's a porno term for an older woman one would be willing to have relations with if no one else is available. But Curry is a supposed scientist who has perhaps got into bed with people like Mark Stein, i.e., slept around. The ugly slug sock puppet who wrote that would be of no importance except that Michael Mann has enthusiastically linked and retweeted him. Yeah, the ugly misogyny of big climate. Nice girls in the lab you fall in love with. Yeah, so all these guys can kiss my big fat behind. These are evil people, man. So I want the climate fearmongers to know you are thrown in with an evil group of people. And if you have a wife or a daughter, which probably most of you don't, I will grant you, you're probably what they call incels or something like that. What is it called? Not voluntarily celibate in I can't remember what it's called. Incels. If you're thrown in with this crowd, you're thrown in with some of the biggest freaking ass clowns that are out there who hate women, and you should be ashamed of yourself because Michael Mann is your standard bearer. That's all there is to it. Never mind Philip Jones and the Hide to Decline clowns from back in the ClimateGate scandals. Climate change is the biggest issue of our times, more so than COVID. They couldn't get climate change politically feasible, so they went after COVID, and it seems to have worked temporarily. COVID is their key to get the world to freaking shut down. I'm just telling you right now. Our side has to be smarter than the other side because the other side has all the accolades, all the support. They got the money. So that means you got to take some time to read. You got to read Judith Curry. You got to read. I got so much crap on here. It's nuts. But you got to read because if you don't, you'll be pushing some talking points that have been debunked. And the last thing, once they debunk you once, they say, oh, we debunked him. So just remember, hurricanes are caused by increasing temperatures in oceans, which are caused by rapid climate change, i.e. global warming and ice caps melting. Okay. So what happens when hurricanes, one of the biggest ones in the last 5 years, come and the oceans were colder? Whoa, fools. They just do talking points. We got to be better. All right, I'm going to get out of my friends. Appreciate y'all being here. Thanks for being along for the ride. And it's good. I enjoy this stuff. But I'm going to go watch a show with my daughter. All right, see you guys. Thanks again.